Looks like it's 7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:01. Please stand for the pledge, please. Oh, you're in the tricky spot. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. There wasn't a meeting last month, but we had the meeting minutes from February 25th to review and approve. Does anyone have any changes, additions, corrections to those minutes?
The only correction I had was just the spelling of John's last name in the new business. It's just V-O-C-K instead of V-A-C-H, but it's a small, that's it. That's all I said.
Okay, you just said that to her.
Yes,
use that. Anybody else have any changes? No? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
I will approve this corrected. I have a motion to approve this corrected.
Second?
I'll second it, John.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, looks like that was unanimous, Michelle. Did you get the seconds? I'm sorry, I should have called those out for you. You got it? Okay. So next is old business, which we have Villas at Seneca. Would like to come forward?
Sure.
Julian Clark with Plumbing Engineering. Carl said he'd be here, but I don't see him right now. We'll see without him. Just want to update you guys on where we stood, get some clarification on a few items, and see if we can't keep this thing moving forward.
Keith, you're in.
So we submitted an updated subdivision plan with 19 lots, which I think everybody's agreed to, the lot layout as we show it. Pretty comfortable with road layout. One question that we have is what right-of-way width the village would like to see. I thought we were talking about 50, but Greg had sent an email saying maybe 60 with setback variances, so I'd like to get that resolved.
I think, from my standpoint, I think I would rather see a 60-foot right-of-way and a reduced front yard setback. And it really doesn't change the appearance any, but it just gives more room to get the sewers and water lines and everything in the right-of-way without having to take easements on certain properties. Because it's not just a straight road, it does have a sidewalk, it has things like that. So that would be, where we can. I think over by, what's that? Hunter Drive.
Yeah.
If we have to, pinch point there or something, we can live with that.
And then my only concern there is during some earlier meetings, there was some hesitation, I thought, about trying to get variances or stuff like that, so I'm just kind of wondering where you stand with that.
But I recall you were going to talk to the head of the Public Works, right?
Yep.
And between the two of you, come up with what you thought was the best for the village.
And I think we thought it was the 60-foot right-of-way would be better. If it's an issue with the variance, then we can live with the 50.
Yeah, again, I'm just going by the previous meetings where you guys weren't totally keen on us trying to get variances and stuff like that.
I think that was the 50-foot right-of-way and the reduced front yard, which, net 10 feet less versus if we, 60-foot right-of-way and reduced front yard setback, you're going to get the exact same distance between the pavement, you just have that extra space there for utilities.
Okay.
And 60-foot, I'll agree, is the normal. That
Okay.
totally makes sense. Again,
But I would, I'm not trying to change. If we're going to, you just basically take it from here and give it to here. It's not, there's no net difference.
Right, yeah, we'll go 5 foot each way and then reduce the setback 5 feet.
Okay.
We're still talking 50 feet along Gentry.
Gentry's actually easiest now, because you get that extra strip.
That's true, okay.
You don't
Yep.
understand if we
Yeah, yeah.
even if the road's a little off center.
We'll hold it back, okay. All right.
Leave the room for the sidewalk that way?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, instead of taking easements on all the lots, you know what I'm saying, it's just cleaner. At Hunter, where it gets pinched down a little bit, we can compromise there.
Yeah, and the build-out's all gonna be on the western side anyway. So that makes sense.
I mentioned we did remove the sidewalk to the other side of the road. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yep.
Makes sense.
As far as what we've been doing, we started our stormwater design. We have an archaeologist that should be in the field later this week because we are in a sensitive area. SHPO wanted to study, so that's going to be started. We submitted the parcel JD for the wetlands. Lord knows when they'll come back with any kind of response.
I walked, I didn't.
Yeah. That's why our initial pitch was, do you really think we need to go to them?
It's a new, and I'm,
So in some of other towns, what we're doing, I know we're in a village. Because this jurisdictional designation is such a weird thing, one option has been to have an expert of your own that you pay go out and do the delineation. I don't know what our time frame is on all of this, but in the event the DEC takes a long time, then we would potentially approve the subdivision based upon that information, and then have language in the resolution that is, if DEC comes back and tells you to do something different, it's at your risk and you have to come back here. But it would keep the process moving.
Yeah, we're doing a similar thing for a project in Cortlandville right now. Just wrote a letter and sent it out today, so that's not a problem.
So if that's the route you want to go, that, if the board is comfortable with that.
I've already pulled the trigger on the cost-sensitive elements anyway, so we're moving forward.
I think that makes sense time-wise for the project, for sure. And we have to reevaluate, then we have to reevaluate, but
And I'm sorry.
it does keep it moving.
As we start going through, as we get closer to something that is acceptable, the timeline starts to churn, right? We have to go to county, you have to go to ZBA, we only have one meeting a month, so I'm just wondering what kind of timeline you're on. Like, are you gonna try to do the improvements like this season?
Yes. Yeah. That is the anticipation. It was ZBA, and I looked for what?
Well, you were 1 minute late, and that was a problem.
I was.
By going with the 60-foot right-of-way, they're asking that we reduce the front yard setback.
I don't know we need to.
It's up to you, you do have.
I mean, with the depths we've got, I don't know that we need to. Our footprints are sufficient.
As long as you're comfortable on the,
No, I just
Between
put it
tapping and
on, I put it on the, I would just put the 10 feet on the eastern side and not alter the setbacks. We could keep them in without having to go to ZBA. That was the whole idea behind the larger lots.
we got a lot more room now.
Yeah, there is sufficient to build the sizes, footprints I was going to do. Not going to be able to end load, sweep around, but which is what we talked about. But there was sufficient. I would take the 10 feet, put it on the thing. I don't think we should put it. I don't think I can give you 60 feet or should along the new Hunter or whatever that extension is, because I'm coming off of 50 feet. But everything I do We'll call it Ashley Lane, just for fun.
There you go.
But,
Someday I'll be that important.
60 feet is fine. And we'll move it on the eastern side.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
lots and back
that's
up.
what I was saying, on the Hunter Lane side there, I understand that
Yeah.
we're pinched and it's difficult, and the 50 we can live with, they're also probably getting sewer down there, so that'll help, you know.
Who do I ask about getting plans for that pump station? I kind of reached out.
I'm gonna try to find them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I submitted the capacity analysis today to ODEP and kind of got that ball rolling, but
Okay.
I can't really lay much out until I know where it's going.
4 years ago, Claude knew exactly what shelf they were in.
I don't know if there's a shelf left. We're digging.
Yeah, so that's where we are, and that really was going to be my question. Can we send this to county, or do we need to tweak this some more and then send it to the county? Or?
So at the pleasure of the chair, you know, when might we want to call for a public hearing? So I think it could be as early as the next meeting, and probably should be at this point.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I would not want, could we send this to the county as is? Yeah. I mean, understanding that there's a small tweak. Yeah, I think this can go to county.
I mean, I could fix it up tomorrow, so we could have it revised. You know, if the submittal was, the deadline for the county was next week, we could get it fixed up for
The
it.
deadline, I think, is May 9th. I just looked it up. I'll double check that. May 9th to get on there. We wouldn't make a decision anyway, but just get it on, and then I think it's an end of May meeting. Does everyone know what I'm talking about? Does anyone care? Does anyone want to know?
Everyone cares.
You can
They
explain
all
it,
care.
Terry. You know what it is.
Nope,
So.
I'm not the legal.
But anyway, so we have to refer this to the Onondaga County Planning Agency, and they're going to look at it and give us any comments. So they have timeframes. They meet like twice a month. So we're talking about a time frame. The submission date is May 9th. They'll have their meeting at the end of May. They'll get us comments back. If we have a public hearing at our May meeting, we might not have county back, or we might, it doesn't matter, but we cannot act, this board can't act until county gives back their comments. We don't know what their comments usually are like,
Do a storm.
talk to the DOT,
Whereas,
you know, yeah.
Whereas.
I don't think they will have much comment on this, but sometimes it surprises me.
So our next meeting is May 27th.
And let me see when they're,
So, yeah, I was gonna say.
I just had that pulled up, so it'll just take me a minute to find it.
I'm sorry.
again. That's okay.
I was looking it up, but I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, not at all. So for a May 9th submission, we'd have county back by May 21st, which would be great.
Okay,
And we
so
can-
that's great.
So this is something we have to get to county by May 9th. It's done electronically, and you and I will work on that. Okay. So we already have this electronically, right? We have
Want to make
this.
the right of way change?
I can. I got till May 9th, I'll make those changes.
Great. So we'll get a new one, and then we've got this.
Seeker.
Lead agency.
Did you sign it?
Yeah, I have it right here for him to sign.
No, I have
Actual signature. Okay. This is-
a pen. And my glasses.
So we do have the FEAF. This is an unlisted action. We can do uncoordinated review on it. Just take it all on for ourselves. No notices would need to go out to anyone, unlike the Browns Foundry where we had to do a big shebang. Do you have any comments on that, Greg?
Pretty straightforward.
So depending on what other comments anyone has on this that they might want to tweak, the motions tonight would be to declare lead agency for unlisted action
Okay.
for seeker and to call for public hearing
Okay.
and request that this be sent to county. I'll say it again.
Okay, I will do this.
I have one question, just because I want to make sure, because I don't know if it really throws. So the top of Lot 8, the house that's adjacent to it in the rear, is that driveway and fence over the lot line where it would affect anything at all?
The second driveway on the Gentry?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it's,
There's no easement to it. I mean, he has no curb cut there, although strangely, county did give him his address is now Gentry, but there's no easement across my land onto Gentry.
Right, he just built it. I noticed that.
Okay.
So that's why I've been asking, 'cause I didn't know if that
It'll become a
throws-
turnaround unless I sell it to him. I may talk about it, if we could have that latitude. I mean, if we can clean it up and sell it to him and still remain the easement, so we need to, that might be a nice.
I didn't know if that had to be done before we
Yeah.
do anything with this.
well, you still have the driveway on. It's not like we're landlocking.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
oh,
skating.
absolutely.
And we just added that.
Yeah, you want to change that?
Wasn't the porch.
I thought so.
Not when they had the house originally, it
No.
didn't exist.
No.
Is that going to cause a problem with the square footage? No.
And the fence.
Yeah, but I didn't know if that should be cleaned up before we,
Well, if there's no right to the property, theoretically, he can come in tomorrow and fill in the driveway and remove the fence.
Right.
And, you know,
But I'm gonna try to be a good neighbor.
no, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, so I don't see it as a, but I probably will consult legal on that.
Well, I agree. I don't think that we need to worry about it. However, should that piece be sold, it would need to get, this map has to,
Yeah, I don't
this
know
part of the
that-
map has to get redone.
I don't know that I'd sell the
lot.
parcel. I may grant him a right-of-way,
An easement,
an easement for his driveway or something along that thing. I don't think I'd sell it, but just kind of make it correct.
well, at least if it's an easement and you potentially in the future sell your property, then you've got a clean deal.
Right, for all parties, just.
Yeah, no, great.
But if you do, it would require like a lot line adjustment, redoing kind of this part of the subdivision map.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just,
Even with an easement?
not with an easement.
Oh,
Now with an easement, so I'll just work with an easement.
If he
there.
sold it, yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep it there. I'll put the
I wouldn't.
sign for the subdivision on it.
I would not buy this lot. I don't know, it may,
On the
it may
Chatham Street side
appear,
of the driveway out to the road.
someone may not be interested in buying that lot, number 8, with that kind of encumbrance.
Yeah, I've had that before, actually, in a couple of subdivisions, and it's this
Nobody
little
cares.
flag, and they don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long, you know, until somebody doesn't mow it, and they realize they have to,
Yeah.
but that hasn't happened, you know.
Anyway, that's, I don't think we need to concern ourselves with
I
that.
suppose that could also be reevaluated with the owner at the time of the sale of Lot 8 too, you know,
Yeah,
if the
before we go in for 9.
purchaser objects.
I mean, we could slice it off as a separate parcel that I could
Approved it all?
potentially keep.
Yeah, it
but
would be improved.
What ends up happening with those is
From here
20 years from now, when I'm not in the picture, the village ends up
Oh,
with that.
because nobody's
Somebody
gonna-
says, why am I paying
That's one
taxes?
reason it's short.
I mean, that's the reality. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Now, we could run a straight line now and not have part of it.
What about the scope? This way.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
We haven't seen it yet.
No, wouldn't.
What are you guys working on over here?
Haven't.
Oh, we were just looking at if we did buy that lot, the way it is now. Who would want that strip that goes all the way up to Tappan? And I also know that that particular homeowner has actually moved into that whole section for other things, putting, garden, chairs and whatnot.
They're actively there.
So you just have to like.
Going spot is fast.
Well, maybe he'd like to buy that piece of property.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking. Yeah, I'm gonna talk,
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
exactly, that's exactly who I was gonna talk to
Yeah.
and work it out that way. 'Cause
Makes sense.
He's aware of it. When he bought it, he wasn't the one who started to do this, but he bought it. And I said, by the way, before he bought it, we had conversation. So he knows that
Yeah, he's only been in the house like a year and a half.
Yeah, so I went and talked to him when he was buying it, and I said, oh, by the way, and I showed him the survey, so he
Yep.
knew where.
If it's empty, people move into it.
So another thing I wanted to talk about is that, you know, the board is willing to move this forward and we can call for the public hearing, but I do want you to give your consent and understand that this is not a complete application yet, right?
Wait,
Yes.
as far as you want to SWIP and all that.
Well, we need SWIP, we need to have the complete information. And that's just because there are timeframes on subdivision approval, and until we have a complete application, we're not going to,
Clock won't start.
the clock doesn't start to run. So I just wanted to point out that it's not complete yet, but we can move it forward at this pace that we're moving it forward, and at some point it'll be complete. So if we do have the public hearing, we're not going to, do a seeker determination or anything until we have the complete application, which is going to include that DEC study, right, to see if it's the wetlands delineation. Not the one from the DEC, but whatever you're doing prior.
Yeah.
From the expert.
Yep.
Anything else, Jay, that we're missing in the complete, besides the SWIP and the wetlands?
I think that's.
I mean, there's some more like sewer and that's.
Yeah, the public
Okay.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
Working on that.
Road profiles.
Road profiles should be pretty straightforward. We are going to give you the standard stuff.
That actually was on my list, if you had some standard details, you can pop those on a sheet.
That'd be great. And then when it's complete, then we'll that time frame will start running. But the intent would not be to hold it up. I think it's been a while. It seems to be shaping up
Been a minute.
pretty well. So.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Questions? Okay, so we need a motion. Do you want me to make the motion?
You can make the motion.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that
There'll be separate motions.
they're all separate. Okay. The first motion is that the Village of Baldwinsville Planning Board would like to declare that they are lead agency
For this.
for this unlisted action. I have a
I will
motion.
second.
Okay.
What she
Andrew
said.
seconded it. Michelle, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, Michelle. All right, and the second one? I forgot, we talked too long.
Public meeting.
We'd like to schedule a public meeting for our next meeting on May 27th.
Karen.
Sorry,
Public hearing.
what did I say?
Meeting.
Public hearing.
I knew what you
Okay.
That's
Kind of the same thing.
I'll second that.
Okay, Johanna, all in favor?
Aye.
And that public hearing will be at 7 PM.
Sure.
7:01.
And you're going to
7:05.
publish the public hearing? Okay.
Did I send that to you? Did I send that to you?
Sure. I think, yes.
You think yes, what? I didn't hear that.
She needed me to help her with that.
Oh,
Yep, so public hearing notice, and that'll go to the newspaper, and,
on the website.
yes, and I think we might have a provision about neighbor,
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
right?
Yes.
Neighbors.
Okay.
Okay.
Cemetery.
How broad is that neighbor range? Is it immediately?
I think it's 500 feet.
Okay.
So the extension, Tappan Street, do you contact people outside of the village?
No one needs to be contacted.
What's outside the village?
Cook,
Oh, but Hunter isn't, right?
Oh.
Right.
Hunter's in the village.
Yeah, well, Hunter,
Oh, I see the line right there. So part of Hunter is in
just I'm the only
your
house.
end.
127
Ashland
Hunter.
Drive is.
Yeah, 127 Hunter is the only one in the village.
I mean, if the board is so inclined, they can request that the notices be sent to the parties on Cook Drive.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Well, what did he say?
Well, I mean, they are right there. They're
I don't think
probably,
it'd be a bad idea, in my opinion.
I agree with you. Yeah.
you know,
Joining.
transparency, right?
It's as close as these.
Well, it's the same distance. It affects them.
Adjacent.
I might have to send a notice to the
There'll be a change.
town.
Down?
Yeah. We'll have to send a notice to the town, and we'll do that.
Actually, we'll
The
have to do
village?
a time
Yep.
at Hunter,
Yep.
at the town road.
In the town. Okay, so the town of Van Buren. Okay. Anything else, Jean?
And what was the last
There's
thing?
3
Send it to
things.
county.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Thank you. Right.
thank you. I'm gonna write it down. I'd like
Coordinate
to
with-
make a motion that we send the project to the county at this point.
County planning.
County Planning Department.
A motion?
Mr. Hamilton,
Mr. Hamilton, that's right.
all in favor? Who seconded it? Mr. Hamilton?
She proposed it.
I proposed it, sorry. Okay. Anything else, Jamie, that you wanted to
No, I
impart?
think I've said quite enough.
Okay.
Next, it's Greg's turn. He's going to give all the engineering comments.
I think we're all set.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
30 minutes, that's gotta be a record.
Not really. 8 minutes is the record.
Is it really?
But we'll work on it.
8 minutes for an approval?
No. No. Unless, do you have something else?
I just want to ask a question.
Oh.
When the county comes back with their comments,
Yeah.
we have to wait for their comments, but we don't have to actually take them into account, is what I read.
You have to
Correct.
You do have to take them into account if, and then you have to take them into account. If you don't like them with a simple majority, you can, at that point,
Okay. So you have to listen, you have to evaluate, and if everybody disagrees,
Then
then
you
we move
can.
forward the way we wish to move forward, otherwise we
By
follow.
a majority plus 1 vote to override modifications. So when you see the referral, when it comes, it's going to have comments and it's going to have modifications. It's only the comments are just like yada yada.
Yeah.
You're paying attention. I mean, you're supposed to.
Commentary on the project,
Yes.
taking into account all things possible, viable, and recommended.
Yes. Excellent. We're going to do that. And then, if it's a modification, if it's going to be overruled, it has to be by a majority plus 1. And
Well, and I don't
You have to give a
anticipate
reason.
that happening, I was just.
it does happen.
Yeah, we have occasionally done that in
Happens.
like tenure here, but for the most part, it's usually reasonable and logical, and
Okay.
you know, it maybe if something was misunderstood or misconstrued, then we would disagree with it because it doesn't apply. It doesn't happen often because most of it is measured and
Thank you.
thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Anybody have any other business this evening? No one?
I didn't meet the new member.
Oh, you did, oh, that's right, you were not here, I apologize.
Sorry, Jacob. Jacob, nice to meet you. Or John.
Yeah, I don't know what we're putting on the plaque, but,
I think we're, I don't know.
no, it doesn't.
It's not John, it's Jake.
Jake or Jake was what I go by.
Okay.
My legal first name is John.
Okay.
But his dad's is too, so that's why he
Oh,
knows
yes.
my
Okay, makes sense.
Gotcha.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I do have a little bit of an update on Sandy. She's been very, very good about keeping in touch and giving me updates constantly. And the project is going to continue into 2026, she says, but she will not be traveling all of that time. So she expects to be able to be back and participating as we need her.
Nice.
But she's in constant touch with me about what's going on and updates, which I appreciate, and it's very conscientious, I think, on her part. And with that, we can have a motion to close the meeting.
I have a motion to close the meeting.
James, second.
I'll second.
Andrew, all in favor? That was unanimous.